Hello everybody, how you doing? I've got a video playing in the background because obviously none of us have Arc Raiders yet. It hasn't actually come out, but I have some concerns regarding the upcoming game, Arc Raiders. So for premise on my concerns, Arc Raiders is basically trying to cover the PvE with missions as well as PvP, but it's forcing it into one box, right? And the big problem I can see coming with that is take for example any normal game that has PvP in it. Look at the Division 2. You've got an area that you can go out into Washington, D.C. map or to New York, and you're solo. So nobody can hurt you, nobody can steal your stuff, nobody can stop you doing missions. But there are dedicated PvP areas in the Dark Zones. Then flip over and look at a game like Dark Souls. Dark Souls is a game that everybody knows, but they had the added aspect of bringing PvP players in that could gank you in a mission, right? And that became frustrating, which is why Soulsborne is so niche, because people can jump in and ruin your mission, right? Then look at the Folly PvP games where you've got the likes of Vigor. So you go into a map and then you are trying to be the last man standing, basically. Grab all the loot you can to build your base and then you get out. The problem with that is you have no missions in Vigor or Vigor, whatever you call it. There are no missions. You're just going in to get loot. So you're not actually losing any progress if you die. Then take another look at another game that's fully PvP, Battlefield, right? It has its story mode, but then there's mainly it's for PvP, same as Call of Duty. And when you go into them, you know when you choose a specific thing like PvP, that's what you're fighting, is other players. So going back to the beginning where I said I can see a problem with Arc Raiders, the problem is the sweaty PvPers, right? So you've got a game that looks amazing, and I've pre-ordered the deluxe edition today. But say, for example, if you're more a PvE player and you go out into the world to farm the resources, fight some robots, and you just want to focus on that and upgrading your hub area, right? Well, there's going to be a very big specific portion of PvPers that do not want to go into the zone to mission. They're just going in to kill you. And whether you run into groups of 1 or 4, you're going to be fighting a lot of people, as I said, that do not want to do missions at all. They're there just to grief people. And I think over the course of time, this will get worse in Arc Raiders because you've got, unlike the Division where I said you've got the map you can go solo, or if you choose to PvP, you've got a dedicated zone. Arc Raiders doesn't have that. So it's all in one. And although on paper it looks good, and from the early access that I've seen on PC, it looks okay. You have to remember that if you've pushed two lots of people together in the same map. So you'll have people that want to do the missions and want to engage in your world and want to fight the robots, learn the lore. And then you're going to have the other people that are there just purely to PvP and don't care about your map, your lore, or anything else. And it's going to ruin the experience. If I was the team behind Dark Raiders in Bark, I would make it accessible so that if you want to log into the world, you can log in a PvE zone where nobody can hurt you. Whether you see other people or not, you're able to quest, you're able to gather materials, and that will prolong the game's life. Because if all you have are PvP griefers, the game will die off very, very quickly. Like when you finish the day at work, you don't want to come home to log on to your favorite game to try and do a few runs to build your base, only to be like shot down by griefers. You don't want that. And the more people get to know the map, the more they'll know where the missions are, the zones, and where the decent loot is, and they'll just camp them areas. That's not good. So if Embark can do anything, it's literally just add a PvE mode. Let people learn the game. Let people learn the lore. Let people have fun grinding. And then when they're ready, if they want to go into PvP, they can. So then you have all bases covered. You have PvP covered for the PvP players and PvE for the people who don't want that headache of fighting griefers all the time. But that said, that's my take on it, guys, is I do think this game looks amazing, especially graphically, but the PvP griefers is the real thing, right? It happens in Dark Souls, it happens in many games where they don't want to engage in the game, they just want to gank people, right, and ruin their experience. And for everybody laying money down for the game, not everybody wants that experience. In fact, PvP of any game is a small majority compared to the PvE experience, right? That's it, everybody. You take care of yourselves. I've just bought the GTA Definitive Edition today. I know years down the line, right? But it's just recently, a few months ago, had a patch which apparently fixes everything. So that will be, I'll probably put some videos on that over the next couple of days. And then obviously Arc Raiders at the end of the month. But until then, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Ta-ta.